I want to share with you one of the easiest, but yet one of the hardest ways to grow your business. Hey, it's business and life strategist Gary Coxe and one of my cockatoos, Little Tequila. So we're going to spend some time today sharing some of this content with you. I think you'll find this quite interesting. The number you want to remember is 82. 82% of what? 82% of all of your customers feel remorse or regret of the purchase they made with you. Think about that. 82%. That's what one study shows. Have you ever bought something that you felt a little buyer's remorse, like, oh, should I have done that? Especially if it's something like a car, and it doesn't even have to be very, very expensive. So let's assume that this number is true. If that number is true, we must, as entrepreneurs and business owners, do something about it. And I'll tell you, the worst industry, or one of the worst industries, is perhaps the car industry and the coaching industry. Business coaches, life coaches. The stuff that I've seen from the programs that I've bought it's absolutely crazy. So today, what we're going to talk about how do we work on this 82%. There's some strategies that you can implement to make this happen. So the first thing that you want to think about is once the purchase is made, all right? What's the purchase? Whatever the purchase that you have, they purchase your product. Once the purchase is made, what is the next step that you can do intentionally? That's the key. What is the next thing that you're going to be able to do in your company intentionally to work on this 84%? Now, keep in mind, you can't necessarily change the 82%. So here's what happens. If the average numbers in 100 or 82% of those 100 people that purchase a product feel regret or remorse, what we need to do is stop the cycle. Stop the cycle of them feeling regret or remorse as soon as possible. Because you may not be able to decrease this number, and I'm okay with that. But what I want to do is I want to stop that thought process from going, all right? It's a cognitive behavior that it's something that you want to close. So how would we close that? Well, what we need to do is we have to get them to feel confident that they have made the right purchase. So one of the first things that you want to do is make contact with the customer and walk them through the buying process, and then more importantly, walk them through after they've made the purchase. So how do you do that? Well, of course, that's going to depend on the product and service you're selling. I remember, made a huge impression. I don't have that product anymore that made the impression because there was no need for it, but it absolutely blew my mind. It was a subscription-based model, and it was $19 a month. That's it. When you make a purchase with this company, it included a half an hour session for somebody to walk you through that product. Blew me away. So if I'm part of that 82% and I had regret or possible remorse purchasing that program, they immediately stopped that cycle of thinking. For a $19 product, how can you even afford to hire somebody for 30 minutes to walk you through how to use their program? That was phenomenal. So my question to you is, what are the intentional steps? What are your intentional steps that you can do and you can implement when you, I hate the word, onboard somebody. I don't know why I don't like that word. I think because every time I've been onboarded, I've been screwed. So what are those intentional steps? And here's the problem. The problem with most entrepreneurs, and it's a natural problem. The problem is we need money to survive. We need money to pay our bills. We need money to make things happen. So initially, in the beginning, we're pretty hungry right around here before the sale, right? And this is how you can tell the difference between companies who are about the money or companies who truly care about the customer. If you truly care about your customer, that will come out. I mean, you can see the difference between people or companies who care more about the customer than those who care more about the money. And the best identifier is they really focus on getting you to make the purchase, and then after the purchase, the process is totally different. It's crickets. You don't hear from them. You have a hard time getting a hold of them. But every time you tried to call them before the purchase, they were at your beck and call. Something is wrong. That should be a red flag for you right away. So what you want to do is, if you show and you know you truly, really deep down care about your customer, and of course you have to have money, you have to make the sale. I mean, everybody needs it, but you're going to implement steps and you're going to make it a focus to take care of the customer after. So I want you to be thinking about, maybe in the comments, write down what are the different ways that you can, after the sale, stop the cycle of the 82% thought process that they have of regret or remorse. So one of the things that we do, and one particular, well, basically two particular products that we have, when somebody purchases those products, one of the first things that they do is they get an email, they get a text message to confirm they got the email, that it's not in spam. Then they also get a phone call from somebody on my team. And then I randomly at times will call some of my customers as well. And that's done usually in the first contact is made with somebody on my team, usually in the first 3 days. Then another follow-up will be made in 10 days to 2 weeks later. We're trying to stop this buyer remorse cycle. And then another product that we have, which is a lot more expensive, a lot more involved, we will have one or two or more people on our team meet with the client, video conversation, virtual, and they'll walk them through every single thing that they have purchased so they understand and know. Now, one of the things that you want to be careful of, saying something like this to a customer. If you ever have a problem, reach out to us. Don't hesitate. Well, that sounds like a good thing to say. Why would you not want to help them with a problem? What you want to do is you want to make sure that you help them before they get to the problem. So if you can walk them through your product or services and all the necessary things that you think they would need, and if you do that effectively, then perhaps they won't have a problem and have to call you back when there's a problem. Too many times, the infrastructure of companies is they don't focus on the steps after the purchase, so there are going to be problems, and then now the times that you get phone calls, it's like the police. They only get phone calls when you need them. Well, you're not looking for people just to reach out to you with problems and only follow up and call you because they have a problem. Do your very best to have an intervention, if you will. Do everything you can well in advance to keep them from having those problems to have to reach out for you. When you start doing that, and it is a mind shift, it will change the way you do business. And it's not easy to do this because it takes resources. But stop and think about it. How much business are you losing when you don't have repeat business? So if you do this effectively, the amount of sales that you would get and the longevity and the shelf life of your customer will be dramatically extended. Not to mention, they're going to talk positively about your products and services. Hope you've enjoyed today's content. I'd love to see more of you and learn more from you and more about you. Click below for the subscription. Love to have you subscribe. And till the next video, we're out of here. Between now and the next time we get to chat, you know what to do. And if you don't, you do now. The title of one of my books, Don't Let Others Rent Space in Your Head. Have an awesome day.